Hello and welcome to yet another live stream. This time we have Rod Carleton with us and Dr. William Bay. So we've got the whole team here. Rod, how are you feeling?
Yeah, uncomfortable, but managing, if that's the best way to. I'm 5 days post-op, so in actual fact, I'm not doing too bad, but each day it's getting better.
And William, you're making great gains. You're doing wonderful live streams every day. Congratulations. And what's been the feedback?
Yeah, I think people have really had enough of this corrupt government, whether it's the left buttock cheek of the Labor Party or the right buttock cheek of the Liberal Party. Their sloganeering and their pork barreling is just not working on the people anymore. The people have woken up. They're telling me that they feel and they can see that they're trying to be bribed into choosing the major parties again. But I'm out there letting them know successfully that they do not have to choose any of the major parties in the Senate this year. They can vote 1 to 6 above the line in the Senate, and they do not have to put a single major party at all. And when I let the audience know that recently, Harvey Bay, there was a huge round of applause. So voter education is what's required at the moment to let people know that we can get as many independent, God-loving, Australian-loving senators in there as needed. We do not need the Labors or the Libs anymore.
And Rod, what's your experience been out on the road?
Look, there's a lot of disgruntled voters, and it's amazing. You go around and you just walk down through the people out in the street, and you say just a simple question. What are your thoughts about a politician? And then all of a sudden, you've got to sort of duck and like this, and people are just really over the nonsense and the I guess the the incompetency of the people that are being put forward to actually run this great nation. They're just not in the league. So I'd have more confidence in an infant in a A380 getting it off the ground than Albanese or Dutton. I mean, I just cannot believe that they're coming out and with energy bills. They promised energy bills wouldn't go past $270, and it's gone way past that. And they reckon they're going to give them $5 here and there discount on the tax break. I mean, it's just a joke. I mean, it's Peter, Rob, and Paul, isn't it? Or Paul, Rob, and Peter.
We've really had this going on for 60 years, and we've had the two-party preferred system, but I don't think anyone prefers this system anymore. And what we need to do is encourage people to vote for GAP, because we have the best policies out of all the parties. What are your thoughts, Will?
Yeah, I especially like the policy on voluntary superannuation and removing the income tax entirely. I think that we are in a 21st century world now, and we can make 21st century changes, which means relieving the burden off the average, everyday blue collar and white collar worker. Why do they have to get taxed? That is punished for working hard, especially when others who don't work hard get a lot of benefit from those tax dollars. I think people who are working hard should get benefit from the government as well by not having to pay income tax. And the Great Australian Party has a plan to fill that revenue stream for the government. It's a digital tax, and with other cost-cutting measures, because there is so much waste in this current corporate government, we can remove the income tax entirely from people, put heaps of money back into people's pockets, and reduce the cost of living for everybody.
Rod, what brought you to putting that policy together, and how do we fulfil the revenue stream? Because people are going to ask about that.
Well, income tax, if you go right through the laws of Halsbury Laws of England, is voluntary, and people in this great nation who are contributing to the wealth of this nation are improving the value of this nation. So we, as all the people, and I just have to excuse people because we're actually getting work done on the bus as we're speaking electrically. What people need to realise is that we're the benefactors to all the royalties out of this country. I mean, the government doesn't own the country; the people of Australia own this great asset, and it's this asset that, like all assets, must give you a revenue stream back, and that's not what's happening currently with the government. But as far as income tax goes, the law states it is voluntary, and that by doing that, we can bring up to 30% or 60% if the mother and the husband and wife are working revenue back through the doors of their house, and I think that's a great pressure to come off a lot of people.
And there's been just a ridiculous amount of cost of living pressures that have been on us all. Really, how else do we rein this in?
By just when we say pressures reining it in, is getting the Senate. You don't have to form government. People must understand that you don't have to form government. You just have to have the balance of power in the House of Review, which is the High Court of Parliament. And because the House of Review has to use the manual of our Constitution, which is the founding deed of this great nation and the title deeds to all Australians, it is that we have to focus on and apply in that jurisdiction. And once we apply the law, put it back to the lower house, the government is in no position to go above that. Like a stream cannot rise above its source. That is the paramount law of this country. And it basically says that income tax is voluntary. And, tax the corporations. That's no problem about that, because, like I say, a parliament can regulate, but it can't create a corporation. So regulation is part of taxing a corporate soul, but the people that own this country should not be subject to income tax, and because they're contributing to the wealth of the nation.
William, you're out and about. You've been up to Hervey Bay. What's your next live appearance?
We've got an event coming up on the 12th of April in Springwood, down in the southeast corner of Queensland, where it's Meet the Candidate Forum Day, and all the candidates who are running in the Queensland election will be there. But surprise, surprise, the candidates from the Liberal and the Labor and the Greens declined this community-led forum, very famous-led forum here in Queensland. It's been going for a number of years, and they just refused the invitation to turn up at all. And doesn't that just show the arrogance of this uniparty? They don't think they even need to meet the people at all anymore. And it's a reflection of the press conference that happened, I think, yesterday, with that young Australian asking the Treasurer and the Prime Minister, how can I get a house, or how can I even afford to rent a place? And they just threw him out. That's their attitude to average Australians. They don't want to hear anything. They don't want to know anything. They don't want to see anybody even. And that is a disgrace, and that's why they deserve to be out, and we deserve to be in.
And Rod, where are you appearing next?
Well, that's subject to getting this bus up and going, but I'm appearing down south. We've taken the first step of putting original proprietors back on their property that have been prevented from going home for a number of years by the West Australian Police and other agencies. So we're going to be certainly out in the rural area, talking to locals about how Nationals have supported net zero. If we don't at GAP stand to keep our Australian family farmers on the land, they'll be extinct by 2050. And that's not a conspiracy theory. That's already come out. Chris Bowen and Albanese, they're pushing very fast for net zero. Twiggy Forrest wants zero, not net zero. He wants zero. So extractable industries want to be able to continue using fossil fuels to mine this or gut this great country at the expense of farmers that are being forced to put arable land, which grow good beef, lamb, chicken, and so forth, pork, back to bush. And then they want us to more access insect meal for the protein. So and that, of course, trying to apply a lot of restrictions with cow flatulence, which is just absolute nonsense. I mean, you can feed cattle seaweed now, which has all been proven to reduce ruminant flatulence by up to 97%. But to be honest, being a farmer, we need ruminant flatulence because that actually mixes with the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, creates moisture, and gives us good photosynthesis to grow good crops. So I just can't understand the concept that these lefties are using to target on one species of ruminant when I think we've got about 258 or 358 ruminant species in the world. I mean, we've got wildebeest, we've got giraffes, we've got all these wild animals, yet they want to go domesticated feedlot animals. It's just an absolute joke. And Bill Gates needs to get right out of Australia. And to be honest, Twiggy Forrest does not impress me, going to the United Nations and the Economic World Forum and then boasting how he's going to create all this green energy at the expense of agriculture. It's that just won't be happening, Twiggy.
And William, how can people become involved with GAP? Can you tell us what people can do to become members?
Yeah, if you want to save this country and be a part of a rebirth of patriotism and the true Commonwealth Constitution of Australia and a lawful government, please go to www.greataustralianparty.com.au and become a member. Join up, add your name to the list of freedom warriors around this country, and together we can take this country back together again. And if you do have some spare cash on the side, we'd love a donation to help print more corflutes, more advertising, and get the Uniparty out of there.
Fantastic. Well, that's great, guys. Let's wrap this one up, and we'll do another one in a few days. But it's all go. I'll be at the Berwick My Place group on Thursday evening. So if you can get down there in Victoria and support us, have a listen to our policies, and we really hope to be a real force to be reckoned with the three of us in the Senate. And Rod, we may even have a few more.
Yeah, look, I won't announce who it is at the moment, but we've got a very strong one, potentially a strong one for New South Wales. There's no question about that. So, and that will definitely support William Bay, definitely in the medical arena. It's, I mean, how good are we to have GAP's experience as an awesome foursome, and to have two highly qualified doctors that have got the full support of Paul Oosterhouse as well. So, I mean, when we get to the medical, there's no better people to put it up. And let's face it, William, I take my hat off to you. You're a true Australian because you've had a go, you've stood up, you've had a go, and there is a lot of doctors that didn't stand up and have a go and just basically went with the main narrative, be what it may. So they wouldn't get suspended. I think what you've done is you've definitely put the patient first and upheld your oath to your to your patient. I reckon that's just an amazing feat in itself.
I appreciate those kind words, Rob, but really I was doing nothing different than I thought all of my colleagues would do. I believed in informed consent and patient ethics as taught to me in medical school. I just didn't expect so few would come with me, but here we are. We shall carry on, we shall lead on and bring the rest of them kicking and screaming with us if we have to, but we will reclaim this country for freedom and constitutional rights once again.
And Rod,
good on you.
Yes, absolutely fantastic. And the way you stood up, William, was just inspirational. I definitely... my wife went to all the protests. I got to say, I was just trying to work away and I didn't, but it's just fantastic. Rod, we've got one more documentary going to be released very soon. Tell us about that.
Well, look, that just basically sums up what I found out while I was in as a federal senator, what the law had clearly expressed to me, and once I applied that law, it basically triggered the restructuring of the High Court. A lot of high-profile people leaving Parliament. It triggered the Citizenship Act, where 17 members of Parliament went away, and yeah, even George Brandis was stood down as the Attorney General. So this is going to really tell people what has happened to their country. It is the truth. It's based all on our founding law, and there is no question about that. So it's just pretty much putting it in, making it more palatable to the every layman person. And I don't mean any disrespect to that, but it's pretty much giving a story in a picture and a documentary, and taking people through what I discovered in my time in Parliament.
That's fantastic, guys. I know you're working hard out there in the electorates, telling our story, and we look forward to another live stream from you, William. And Rod, no doubt you'll be out there and doing lives as well.
Authorised by Rod Cullerton for the Great Australian Party, PO Box 8242, South Perth, WA 6151.